Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on Anubhav Learning Series. Our today's topic is how to automate Fiori App deployment to ABAP system using Git action. Yes, you heard it right. Most of the world is moving towards automated process. Human interventions are getting minimized, and in the same direction, Git has proposed a new opportunity for us to build a CI/CD pipeline using Git action. With the help of Git Action, you can automate your deployment of applications to the cloud platform and on-premise platforms. In our today's session, we will see how do we deploy our Fiori app using Git Actions to ABAP platform S4HANA on-premise system. This approach is free, it's simple, and it is fast. You don't have to pay to anybody. You don't have to configure much of the things, and anyone with very small knowledge of Node.js can configure the same. We have covered the basics of Node.js and the deployment process using VS Code in our advanced Fiori training. As you know, WebIDE is now no more used as a preferred development tool for Fiori. VS Code and Business Application Studio are the preferred tool. We have covered VS Code development, including basics of Node.js in our advanced Fiori training. And this video is for those who already know those concepts. If you have not seen those concepts or never worked on that, please join my advanced Fiori training where we've covered all of that. So let's understand what is Git Action and how Git Action is going to help us today. So Git Action, GitHub Actions makes it easy to automate all your software workflows, whether it is about unit testing, integration testing, triggering a third-party test, deploying your applications, building the CI/CD pipelines. Everything can be automated using Git Action. You can build, test, and deploy your code right from the GitHub. As GitHub is the world's biggest code repository these days, all the ABAP developers and UI5 developers are also using Git to store their source code and manage the lifecycle, including conflicts and commits. We are going to now use out of the box the same GitHub to deploy our Fiori applications to ABAP system. We can do make code reviews, we can do branch management, issue triggering work. Everything is coming to the Git. So you can use now one single tool. Bye bye to Jenkins and bye bye to third party plugins to get this work done. So what's our use case for today? Our use case today is we would like to package our Fiori application. We would like to deploy to ABAP system, and we want to get rid of all the manual tasks. Exactly. So that's our requirement. So let's understand in this requirement what are all the different agents involved. So first of all, you as a developer, as a UI5 developer, would use VS Code development tool. And what you are managing using VS Code is a UI5 application or a Fiori application. And this Fiori application is powered by UI5 tooling. So that is what we are also using. And using the UI5 tooling, you are proxying the backend request to avoid the cross origin resource sharding and connecting to your backend system. Along with that, it is also providing the middleware to deploy your application to ABAP system. Currently, what we do is we use a command called npm run deploy, as we learned in our advanced Fiori training, to deploy our app to our S4HANA system. We are using S4HANA on-premise system, but you can also use ECC or cloud systems to do the same process. So this is what we are currently done. This is the current setup of what we do. Now, if you notice, this is a command which I have to do after I do a git push. So once my code is ready, as a developer, I will test my code locally, and then I will first push this code to the Git so that my fellow developers and colleagues can use it. Yes. And then I will manually run the npm run deploy command. Yes. Now, what about if I want to automate this process? I don't want to run this extra command. I want this command to be executed out of the box automatically the moment I do a git push. So now GitHub is going to do this deployment to S4HANA system for, first of all, free. Yes. The second important thing, fully automated. Guys, the basic rule is automate every single thing which is possible today in front of you. Reduce manual effort as much as possible. Take an example. If you have a 50 developer team and each developer takes 5 seconds a day to deploy your application to ABAP system, 50 into 5, 250 seconds per day into 30 into 365. Can you imagine how much time your developers are spending to deploy your application to SAP server? And what if one of such developer forget to deploy by end of the day their application to the development ABAP environment? Yes, it's a cost to company. Every company these days follow clean desk policy. Before you leave office, please push your code to the GitHub, which means if the code is already pushed to the GitHub, let the Git take care of this work and deploy to S4HANA system. And that's where we have got the Git actions. You can see the icon. This is how it looks like. This looks like constructing a pipeline. So we will create a pipeline now, and using this pipeline, we will be able to deploy our application to S4HANA system. That too absolutely free, my friends. So let's see what is that we are going to do now. What is the process? In this process, what we are going to do, and let's first understand what is that which we will achieve using Git actions. So I'll switch over back. You can see this is my Fiori application built in our advanced Fiori training. It's a very simple app. Let me first run it locally. So I will test and run this application locally in my computer just to show you what do we get. So we get a very simple set of fruits, and these fruits, when I drill down, I can see the details of fruits and suppliers. Yes, that's a very simple basic application. And you can also get it created with my Yeoman template available on internet for free. So now we also have a GitHub account, and there we have already deployed this application. You can see it's called Anubhav Repo in the GitHub, and you can see code was updated 42 minutes ago. Yes, and then at the same time, I will also now deploy this app to the SAP server. So let me run this npm run deploy command, which we learned in our Fiori advanced training. It packages the application and then finally deploys this to SAP server. You can see the application is now deployed to SAP server also. And when I run this IP address, my SAP server, I can see this app is now running in SAP server, SAP S4HANA server directly. But every time I have to run this npm run deploy command as a developer, I don't want to run that. I want that command to execute automatically when I do a git push. And that should not happen in my local computer. It should happen somewhere remotely. And at the end, I should also be able to see what is the log of that process. Suppose deployment fails due to some reason, who triggered the deployment, what time it was triggered, what went wrong with the deployment. I want all that information. I want logging to be also done. Congratulations, GitHub is going to do that. It's going to fully automate that. So the way I'm running this command in my local computer, under the hood, what's going to happen? So under the hood, what's going to happen is this is VS Code, which you are using. And using the VS Code, you are going to do a git push to your Git repository on the cloud, on the internet. Yes. So we will have a GitHub account. And on this GitHub account, you are pushing your code. Now, what I will do is the GitHub is now giving me a small virtual machine at runtime. Yes, it gives me a Linux Ubuntu machine on the cloud. And the command which I'm today running in my local machine, like npm run deploy, this command, I can run it in this Ubuntu machine automatically. And that's what the Git action is going to do. So when you use Git action, you have to configure a Git pipeline. You have to configure a Git action. You have to define this Git action. And in this Git action, you have to put set of commands which you would like to run inside this Ubuntu machine somewhere on the internet. So Git will allocate a virtual machine at runtime. So what we need to do now in this Ubuntu machine, the command which you were running in the local computer here, which was npm run deploy, this command I wanted to run over here in this Ubuntu machine. But it's not that straightforward. This Ubuntu machine is an absolutely fresh machine. This machine has absolutely nothing at the moment. Yes. So what you need to first do is we need to install the Node.js. We need to install SAP UI5 tooling. At runtime, we can also configure which Node.js version we require in this Ubuntu machine. And once all of this is done, if you want to do some unit test, what we did in our Fiori advanced training, you can also trigger them. But our goal here is to understand deployment. And then we run this npm run deploy command in this Ubuntu machine, which is going to connect to our system and it's going to do the deployment. Bam. So let us see this full process. How do we configure a Git action? So you can see the app is already there and running fine. Let me run the app once again in SAP server. And you see here my view one and it's an empty view, and then it opens something. Now what I want to do, I wanted to configure a Git action, and then when I will push into my GitHub account, at that time it should automatically update my ABAP solution or ABAP deployment of this Fiori app. So eventually a change which I push to Git, I will not push to ABAP. That change will eventually be available in ABAP out of the box. Yes. So one more thing to pay attention, my app name is ZZ1 underscore ABC in ABAP system. That's the app system is going to update. So let's see this in action. So I will just go back to GitHub and I can go to actions, and now I can create action. So probably I would like to take a skeleton, a basic template to create my action. And the one which I'm going to use is Node.js because we are using Node.js and UI5 tooling. So let's click on set up this workflow. And now the first thing is the name of the job. So you can just also put here Anubhav dot. You can give a name of this YAML file. Let's say Anubhav trainings. And then I will say the name of my module is Anubhav trainings UI5 ABAP S/4HANA server deployment. Yes. And I will say when to trigger this Git action. This Git action will be triggered whenever somebody push on my master branch. I don't want to do it on case of a pull request. Then I will start a job, build, use the Ubuntu machine. Yes. Install the Node.js. Let's install the latest version of Node.js on this fresh Ubuntu machine. Yes. And then we have a couple of steps. So this is a built-in, this is a built-in template. So here it's going to use the Node.js version, set up the Node.js. Yeah, this is the version, run the npm command, npm ci command, npm run build command. All these commands is going to run. I've got also a couple of commands which I will append it to this. So after the CI command, what we're going to do is just append, yes, npm run deploy command. Yes, that's all you got to do. And we are ready. That's it. Let's say start commit. Let's commit, added git action for ABAP deployment and put anubhavtrainings.com. That's our website. And I click on commit. So this is a change which I just committed, and you see this Anubhav JS YAML is created. You can also do a git pull in our project in local machine. You can also edit that file accordingly in local computer. So I pull, and you can see in the GitHub folder, .github folder, workflow folder, it creates this YAML file. So you can also edit the workflow if you want here. Yes. Now let's test this in action. That's all you need to do. I will also share this entire source code with you all in the description of the video. You can just check, and then accordingly you can also configure your GitHub action accordingly. Now what I will do is let's do a git push. So I'm going to switch over back, make a small change. I'm going to just change my view title, go to view one, and instead of view one, I will put Anubhav trainings. And now let me do a git push. So let's come back and push to the git repository, made a small change. And I will first just run a build. So UI5 build. And once the build is complete, let's go ahead and now trigger a git push. So I'll say git add, git commit, new changes in view one. Please pay attention that I'm not pushing anything to ABAP. I'm just going to push my change to the git, and I'll say git push. Let me just, so we've committed the change, and now we're going to do git push origin master, and boom, that's done. Let's go back to the GitHub now, and go to actions. And what you see, wow, you can see now there is a new workflow which is ready, and you see it's running out of the box, fully automated process, guys. पूरा का पूरा automate कर दिया हमने. There is no manual intervention. I click inside. This is building a job. You can see node 6 version 16 is installed. Yes, the build is in progress. It's deploying to S4HANA system. Yes, I can open the job log. I can see what's going on inside. You can see it has set up the job. It has run the checkout. It is installing the Node.js. It's going to install all this. And you see, if something fails, you will get to know that. Wow. Nice. There you go. You can see. So what's going wrong here? Let's explore. So as you can see, this is certainly failing because UI5 command is not found. The reason is the UI5 command line interface is not yet installed. So what we need to also do, we need to install UI5 command line interface. So let me go back, make a direct change here, and we add one more command to install SAP UI5 command line interface. So let's run, and I will say npm install at SAP UI5 CLI. This is the one which we need to install. Let me just cross check if that's the correct one. Yes, that's the correct one. Then I would also need the UI5 advanced tooling. So what we can do is we can also install the same. So I have that already here. You can see we would also need this SAP UI UX UI5 tooling. This is another module I would need. So I'm just going to install all these modules here. So these modules and the commands will be available. Yes. So let's go ahead and now do a push one more time. So let's first do a git add, git commit, and git push. So once again, another job will start. So this time I just made a change to my workflow. And if I just go back to the git actions, another change has been taken. Wow. Let's go inside the change. It's going to set up my Ubuntu machine on the fly. It is going to install the Node.js. It is going to install the UI5 command line tooling and the Fiori latest tooling, and then it's going to deploy. Yes, and then of course there are some post methods. So let's see this. It's running now CI. Okay, it's going to take a few seconds. Once it's done, you can see now UI5 command line interface is getting installed, and now you see there's a process error in installing UI5 CLI. Something is wrong here. Let's go investigate this. So it's saying not registered as on npm. I think there's a problem with @of. Let's check it out. Maybe we have not put in the right library or right dependency. Let me cross check. It's UI5 CLI, guys, not @UI5 SAP UI5 CLI. So it's just UI5 CLI. I'm really sorry for this correction. So I just wanted to show you the kind of changes. And let's push now. So we will put here UI5 CLI and UI5 tooling. And let's do a push one more time. And let's cross our fingers whether it should work or not. So now done. So what should happen? I'm not doing any ABAP deployment. Let the ABAP deployment happen via Git action. Yes, that's what we will see. Let's go back to the actions. Now we'll go inside. This is the job which is running. I'll go inside the job, and you can see it's just setting up the Ubuntu machine.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So now the build is complete. You can see it turned green. Nice. Let's go ahead and check our command for deployment, and you can see the deployment package of our application in the Ubuntu machine. It has also added all the necessary artifacts related to our UI5 application. And then finally, the application is deployed to SAP ABAP server and available with the name ZZ1ABC under $TMP package. So now I can go back and check the application in ABAP system. It was already there, but we just made some change in the view one. So if I go to view one, you can see it's changed to Anubhav trainings. Nice. Now let's go and test this application in the browser. So I will come back. You see last time it was view 1, but if I press F12, empty cache and hard reload, we should see, there you go, Anubhav trainings as my change. Let's try this for the second view as well with a seamless integration. So I'm going to go back, make a small change to our view 2, and I will say Anubhav is here. I will save the change. I will do a git add, git commit, and finally the git push. And that should begin once again the new workflow. So let's go back and check that on Git Actions. I'm going to go back to the Git Actions, and now you can see one more change has come. It's queued up. Let's check the live log. I go inside, and there you go. You can see it's running. It's installing the Node.js. It's going to install our UI5 tooling, the Fiori Advanced tooling, as we learned in Fiori Advanced training. And then it's going to finally deploy our application to ABAP system nicely. It's damn fast this time because the system already recognized these modules quite faster. So you can see the live deployment in action. Yes. And you see the application got deployed now. Deployment is started. Yes, it got finished and the application is now available for us at this location. So we can go ahead and test this now. We can switch over back to the application. And if I press F12, empty cache, hard reload, still I think something is going on. Let's check in the ABAP, in the view 2. And yes, I've got the change here at least in the ABAP system, but it may be taking few seconds extra to reflect on the Fiori app. Yes, there you go. You can see Anubhav is here. So I just doing a git push and the rest of the job is taken care by the Git. Wow. So that's the end-to-end CI/CD process with the help of Git Actions. I hope you enjoyed this. For more videos like this, please subscribe this channel, share, like and subscribe this channel with your friends and colleagues so that they can learn latest and greatest directly on all SAP technical skills with us. Thank you so much once again for watching this video. See you in the next session. Goodbye.